Good morning, welcome to Pecan Corner. I'm Tina, and today I'm going to make a clone of Entenmann's cheese-filled crumb coffee cake. This one came from Frugal Antics of a Harried Homemaker. Paul got it in a little email list that he belongs to this morning, and he was so excited about getting the recipe because he loves Entenmann's crumb cakes. And then I said, well, why don't we make that now, and we'll have it for, you can have it for your breakfast this morning. So here we go. All right, we're going to start making our dough. It's a yeast dough, actually an eggy yeast dough. A bowl here. There, we got that. We need to start by melting our butter. We want 6 tablespoons of butter, and a stick of butter is 8 tablespoons. So we're going to cut off a couple of teaspoons of this. Put the rest in our little saucepan here, and melt it. Alright, there we go. Get back into my butter jar in a little bit. If you are using cold milk, you want to put that in there too so that you kind of warm it gently. I'm using some canned milk here. I'm actually using coconut milk, which will be a good substitute. But you can use canned milk. That's 3/4 of a cup of milk. Ooh, forgot my apron. I'll have stuff all over me if I don't put an apron on. I'm a pretty messy cook. There we go. Alrighty, here we go. Now, alright, I need 3/4 of a cup of milk. This is I bought this little measuring cup at a garage sale, and all of the writing had worn off on it, so I had to actually pour things into it, and then I wrote with a Sharpie on it what the measurements are, and it's actually stayed really good. I just throw it in the dishwasher to wash it, and it has done a really good job there. So okay, and we're going to add our sugar. We want add here 1/4 cup of sugar. And a little salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay. Get our salt out of the way. Okay. A cup of warm water. I'm going to add that to the milk to get warm. We were talking about, I was reading, I actually wrote a blog article about it. I was reading about the troubles that the poor folks in Flint, Michigan are having with their water. And one of the problems that they're having is apparently nobody ever taught them certain things about using water lines safely that a lot of us known all of our lives. I grew up in Oklahoma, and one of the things that you do to keep your water that's popped in to keep it clean and sanitary is you do have to use it. If it sits in the pops, it'll pick up bacteria, or it'll leach out minerals or lead or things that are not supposed to be there. The other thing is to never use water from the hot water pipes in your cooking or in your drinking. You get that water from the cold water side. And then the third thing is let your water run for a few seconds before you start collecting it, especially if it hasn't run in several hours. You know, the way I'm working here, I'll have fresh water coming through, so I don't necessarily have to do that. But if you've been gone all day, first time you go to get water from the pipe, you know, let it run for 30 seconds or so, and let that water that's been sitting in the pipes kind of flush away before you start collecting it to drink it. That's just the safest way with these. With old pipes, and realistically with newer ones too. Some of those practices are just really good to keep in mind. You can save that water and, you know, use it to water outside flowers or your flower beds with, and it won't hurt a thing. Okay, now I'm going to need let's see, where's my yeast. Now I do my yeast a little bit differently than a lot of people do. I mix my yeast with my dry ingredients, and the way I do that, it's a method that I learned, my grandmother actually learned and taught me from a Seventh-day Adventist bread bake class. And they mix like I said, they mix the yeast with the dry ingredients, and then you don't have any of that having to proof the yeast. You don't have to worry about overheating it and killing it, so it actually works really good. So I want 1.5 teaspoons of yeast, and I'm going to end up with 4 to 4.5 cups of flour. So I'm going to put the flour in here. Start with 4 cups. Might not need that half a cup, we'll see. It's really cold today. You know, we had a really warm winter. And I read a little bit of an old saying that says, if it's summer all winter, it'll be winter all summer. Well, it was probably in the 50s this morning when we got up, and that's crazy here. I've seen times in May in Texas when it was 110 degrees. So this is really unusually cold, and we've had lots and lots of rain. I have to tell you, I love El Nino years because we get wonderful rain in Texas during the El Nino years. Alrighty, here we go. 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. 1. And I'm using instant yeast, but I guess you could use either kind. I'm just using that because that's what I had most handy. Mix it around in there. Okay. Water. I mean my milk butter. Alright. Now we're going to add our eggs. Now this butter is not hot enough to cook the eggs, so I have farm eggs, yard eggs, so I always crack each one individually into a little bowl before putting it into my my mixture, or into a pan, or however I'm going to cook it. This way, the people that we get our eggs from, we have so many friends that that raise chickens, and they're all really good about being very careful to only collect fresh eggs, but just on the off chance that one got hidden in the coop there and didn't get collected early, it's, you know, that way we save ourselves from having one that was fertilized or something like that in there. So, all right. Okay, now I'm going to go over here to the mixer and start mixing everything up. Be right back. Okay. Now, here we are at the stand mixer. You can do this by hand if you need to. But eggs blended up there. Okay, now we'll start adding our flour. I'm using the dough hooks. Put this up a little bit higher, see if you can see down in it a little bit. And that's a little bit better maybe. Okay, now let this start bringing this together, and I'll be back when it's a little bit further along. Now it's starting to come together, and I'm going to let that work for about 2.5 minutes, since I'm not going to knead it by hand. It's looking like, let me kind of see if I can show you. I'm going to let it knead for just a little bit, and then I may need to go ahead and add my other half cup of flour. It's looking pretty wet there, so I'm going to let it see how it incorporates. Like I said, it's rainy today, so there may already be a lot of moisture in the flour, so I may need to have a little bit more flour that way. Okay, my dough's nice and soft, and it's been kneaded, so now I'm going to set it aside here and let it rise. One of the little tricks that I use when I'm rising bread is I turn my oven on for 1 minute, set the timer for exactly one minute, 60 seconds, and let it preheat for 60 seconds, and then I'll turn it off, and then I'm going to put my dough in there to rise, and that will give it a nice draft-free warm spot in which for those little yeast to do their thing. They're nice little creatures, and they eat the sugars, and as they breathe out, that's their exhalation is what makes the bread rise. All right, there we go. Now put me a little. Isn't this cute? It's early to rise. It's a linen baking cloth, and a vintage one. Let's just put it over that to keep it kind of dry. Should be just about done. My timer should, there we go. Alright, now just set it in the refrigerator. My oven's off, but nice and warm. And we'll start on our filling. It needs to rise for, until it's double in bulk, about an hour. I'm going to set my timer because I have actually, before I have forgotten to check in time and actually had things that over-rose because I wasn't looking at it. Alrighty, now then for my filling, I'm going to use 2 8-ounce bricks of cream cheese, a cup of sugar, 2 eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a teaspoon of lemon juice. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up and get it ready to be waiting on me. Okay, first I'm going to cream my cream cheese with my mixer. It's awful soft. I'm just going to kind of whip it. Get it nice and soft. It's already pretty soft, so it's not going to take much to get it. Okay. All right, now then, I'm going to put my eggs in. Whoops. Okay. Need 2 eggs. And once again, I'm going to open my eggs in over a little bowl. There we go. Right now, everybody's hens are laying a lot, so we have plenty of eggs. There will come a time, though, when there will be a dearth of them. It seems like, you know, chickens, they get to a point where they don't lay for a while, and they have to come. Okay, now I'm going to add in my eggs. Okay, now I need to add my sugar. Get my sugar. Cup of sugar. Blend this until it's nice and smooth. Okay. All right, now I'm going to get off. There we go. Okay, now I need a teaspoon of vanilla and a teaspoon of lemon juice. Teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm using bottled lemon juice. I don't have any fresh lemons on hand, but that'd be nicer, but the bottled is just fine. Okay. Little dab extra isn't going to hurt a thing. These Revereware mixing bowls my grandmother got me for wedding present back when I first got married, way back in the 70s, middle 70s. And this mixer, my first father-in-law bought for me, and it's still working after all these years. Okay, all right, now that's all done, and so I'm gonna set that aside and wait until the dough's ready to put it in. All right, next I'm going to make up my my Streusel topping. I need 4 tablespoons of butter. It needs to be really soft, nice soft room temperature butter. And 1/3 cup of sugar. 3/4 of a cup of flour. And 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm just going to sprinkle some cinnamon there. We like a lot of cinnamon, so that'll work. And now I'm going to use a pastry blender. I really like having this to use, but you can use a fork, or you can use 2 knives and cut into it. You can even use your fingers and just mix it together like that if you want to. Just depends on whatever works best for you. What you want to do is get it to a crumbly stage where it looks kind of like crumbs. Two tablespoons of my butter were from that I used in the dough, that 2 tablespoons that I cut off, so they weren't quite as soft as the 2 tablespoons that I already had sitting out. It was left over from dinner yesterday. We've had the best weekend and first part of the week. I tell you, it was so nice. Our youngest son and daughter-in-law and grandbaby came in from out of state to see us, and we all got together with my dad and stepmom and at our middle son and daughter-in-law and that grandbaby's house, and just had a really good time. And then they came back up here to the town that we live in, and so we've gotten to spend a lot of time with my dad, my stepmom, and my daughter-in-law, and my son and our youngest son, and our grandbaby that we've missed a lot. And so it's just been really, really a nice time. All right, now I'll just set that aside, and then I'll have everything ready to go now as soon as the dough has risen. Okay, my dough has been rising for an hour. It's doubled its size. It's a nice, soft, nice dough. Very good. Okay, now, oops, should have put my flour out before I laid it on. There we go. Now then, there we go. All right. They say this recipe will make 2 of them, so I'm going to roll it out, and I'm going to cook them on a sheet pan. Got my sheet pan. Turn my screen around so I can make sure that you're being able to see what I'm doing. Okay, now there. All right, now let's roll it out. Kind of wider than I want it because I'm going to fold the top over. Actually, I'll probably cut and braid it. That's what I'll probably do. Let's get a little more flour there. Okay, now all I need to do is okay, I'm going to put it on my sheet to put together. Here we go. Now I've oiled my sheet with my with some coconut oil, or you can use shortening or lard. Use half of my filling. You could fill this with whatever your favorite filling is. You could make a prune filling or a raisin and nut filling, but Paul and I really like cream cheese, so
that's what Entenmann.
That's what the real thing is. And I'm going to use my kitchen shears for I'm going to dip them in the flour, and I'm going to use them to cut my pieces here. You could also use your pizza wheel or just a regular. You can also just take your regular knife, cut through like that. The trouble with using your knife though is you're putting your knife blade on that metal, and Paul's clobber me if he catches me doing that with his nice Hinkle's knives. This one, what did you say?
You'd be outside of a locked house.
He said I'd be outside of a locked house. Our oldest son got us this one for Christmas ages ago, 15 years ago. And it's still just as nice as the day we took it out of the package. Hinkle's knives are very good. Okay. Oops, let me get up here. Here we go. Folding it, it's not going to stick together, but it makes it easier to cut those long, deep cuts that I need. Okay, now then to braid this, all I do is, I don't know if y'all can see everything. Let me make sure I've got everything where I can see it. Okay, is that better? Okay. Let me get you a little bit closer up here. There we go. That's a lot better. Okay, there we go. Now. Okay, all I'm going to do is just fold these right over the filling, just like that. Just pull them together from one side to the other. And if you do, like I've got here, see I had more cuts on one side than the other, just take an extra one from the side that you got too many cuts on. There we go. And there we go. That's all there is to it. That's all it is. I'm going to get the other one together, and then I'll be right back, and I'll let you watch again when I go to braid. Okay, now this one, I'll try doing something a little bit different. You can tell that these are always the first time I've made a recipe when I film them, when it's a new one, because I'm always trying something different. So this time I cut it before I put the filling in, which, and is another way to do it. That makes my cuts a little more even, but I probably didn't leave quite as much space for my filling as I could have. Might have cut it a little too close. So we'll see how this one bakes up. I didn't think about it, but I've got goat cheese. I bet you could use some goat cheese in this. It'd be really good too.
Don't mess with perfection.
Okay, now, there we go. All right, now then we're gonna just take one side and then the other. One side and then the other. Now we're gonna let this rise again for about another 20 minutes. And I'm gonna set it, I'm gonna do it just like I did before. I'm gonna turn my oven on. I'm gonna give it 1 minute while I'm getting this ready. Then I'm gonna turn it off and I'm gonna set this in the oven to let it rise. There we go. All right. Now, let's see. I'll let it rise before I put my streusel on. No, put my streusel on too. Okay. Spread it evenly over both cakes. It's a lot of streusel.
That's what you need it.
Okay, Paul says it's going to need it, so we believe him. As soon as that, okay, there we go. Now, all right, now I'm going to set these in the oven to rise for 20 minutes. Set my timer. Okie doke. All right, and I'll be back when it's risen and let you see. All right, there they are, nicely risen. And I'm gonna plop some of this back on top. It's falling off here. There we go. All right, I'm gonna put these in the oven now at 375 for how long? 25 to 30 minutes. All righty, be right back. Okay, now these have baked for 30 minutes. I gave them an extra 5 minutes since there were 2 of them in the pan there. But they're beautiful and golden brown, and then I'm going to let them cool off, and then I'll dust them with powdered sugar. Then I'll cut Paul a piece of his Entenmann's cheese-filled crumb coffee cake. All right, be back when they're cooled. Okay, it's cooled, so now I'm going to sprinkle it with the powdered sugar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tea strainer, and let me move these out a little bit so you can see better. There we go. And I'm just going to pour my sugar into it and just kind of shake that strainer over the top. There we go. That's a real easy, fast way to get a nice even coat of powdered sugar on something. There we go. Tea strainer is one of those things that is just hard to do without. Even if you don't make make loose tea anymore, still need these strainers. Okay. All right. Now then, let me cut some, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, here we go. Let's cut through it. I'm going to use my bread knife. Oops, let me turn this on, make sure that you guys can see. There we go. Alright, here we go. There's the end. See, that piece didn't have any filling in it, but here's one with the filling. Here we go. There you are, see? Very pretty. I'll give Paul 2 nice pieces to start. bring the camera over here where you guys can see better. Oops. What it looks like. And there we are. There's our finished piece. Looks delicious. All right, thanks a bunch. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you'll try to make it. If you've liked this, I hope you'll give us a thumbs up and please subscribe. Thanks a bunch. Bye.